Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our second segment of Mind Your Money Man, Mind Your Life with J. Danielle Taylor. On yesterday, we talked about the stimulus packet, what to expect, what was your tax preparer's responsibility, what wasn't your tax preparer's responsibility. And I promised you that I would come back today quickly to talk about the stimulus payment and exactly when it's going to roll out, how to expect that you're going to receive it. I just need to type a few notes here. When to receive it. So that's what we're talking about today is our stimulus package. We know we've seen so much in the news, and I just want to make sure that we clear up any myths so that you can go into this tax season informed and educated on what it is that you need to do. Let's talk about the latest news that we have on the stimulus package. We know that it went to the Senate before it could even make it there, that Mitch McConnell shut down the fact that we were asking for that $2,000 was the amount that was being asked for, although Donald Trump signed off on 600, but it would have been up to the Senate to have the final vote and say that we could get 2,000. We did not, or they did not approve that. So the $600 is what is going to roll out. But when will the second stimulus check arrive? And this is updated information from Fox News as of 2 hours ago that the stimulus economic impact payments are set to arrive very soon. The government will be sending out paper checks on Wednesday, which means people should begin receiving those checks within the next 2 weeks. Where are they going to get the address from? The address is the address that they used on your 2019 tax return. Then that's when that is going to come out. It's going to go to that address. It also says that individuals with direct deposit information on file with the IRS will receive their money quicker beginning on Tuesday for some and continuing into next week. And Tuesday really means as of today. So as of today on the 30th, some of the direct deposit stimulus checks were going to go out, start to hit bank accounts as early as Tuesday night. The Treasury and the IRS are working with unprecedented speed to issue a second round of economic impact payments to eligible Americans and their families. And on yesterday, we talked about who was eligible, who was not eligible. Just for a recap, if you were head of household and you made $75,000 or less, you would get the entire $600. If you are married and filing a joint return, your household together should have received less or not more than $150,000 in order for you to receive the economic stimulus check. And that will be $600 per adult, i.e. $600 per person in the household that is dependent under the age of 16. So for example, if my husband and I have two children at age 16, our household is going to get 600 times 4, which is 2,400. If I'm a single person and I have one child and my child is under the age of 16, then that means that we would get $1,200. So it's 16 and under, sorry. So that's how it would work. So you have to be within those income guidelines. If you make more than those amounts, then they will start to reduce your payment by $5 for every $100 that you receive. So basically for a single person, that's going to cap out at about $86,000. And they'll do the same thing. They'll start at 150. So if you make 160,000, then that means that basically around 10,000 or more, then you would phase out and would not receive it. But the amount is going to decrease. And at $86,000 for a single person, that means you'll get a $5 stimulus check. So you do need to know all of that. When you're filing your tax return, it is important, and we see now it's so important to make sure that your information is accurate. If you move, update that information with the IRS, because if not, we're going to have some situations with customers that I've even had personally at Tax Pro that's been running their stimulus down because they moved. They did not update their information with the IRS. And of course, we don't ever know when a pandemic, when an emergency is going to happen. So keeping that updated information means we're updated in a database. So if something else happens, if they issue some more money out, then that means the money will, I will be able to get our refunds at a particular time. Oh my goodness. I'm not even going to read that comment. Get our refunds or our stimulus or whatever extra money the government is trying to send to us at our correct addresses, at our correct direct deposit information. Someone had up a question or was asking a question about the portal to click on and to update your information. It is not available right now. So it may be reopened sometime next week. I don't have the exact information on that. Right now, the IRS website is saying that it's not open, it's down. So what the government is going to do first, just like they did on last year, they're going to go ahead and use the information that they have and send it out to you. As currently stands, the checks will be $600, which is what we just discussed. And under the CARES Act, which passed earlier this year, eligible Americans receive $1,200 checks, but again, it's only going to be $600. And the income threshold, basically anybody earning more than $8,700 as an individual or $174,000 as couples are ineligible for the payments. And you guys can go ahead and start putting some questions up as I get into some more information. So when we're talking about receiving refunds and receiving stimulus payments, that's extra money in our households, extra money into our economy. What's the best way to spend this money? How should we take it and allocate it as a part of our daily living or our budgets so that we can have the best financial year that we can? $600 is not a whole lot of money. $1,200 is not a whole lot of money, but it's more than what you already had. And for some people, it does make a big difference on whether or not the rent is going to get paid, the light bill is going to get paid. But one of the things that we have to keep in mind is every penny that we get is valuable, and we have to spend it on the best way possible. That's why when you get any payment that comes into your house, before you spend anything, the rule of thumb is you take your money, you evaluate it, you see what you have, you see what the need is, you see what your goals are for your future and for your family finances, and then you spend the money accordingly. I just want to make the appeal I started on yesterday. With the stimulus payments or with your tax refunds, do not take the money and run to Walmart and spend it and buy a flat screen television or buy more shoes and clothes or things like that. Someone has a question. Has anyone received any money yet? To my knowledge, they have not. And from what I'm reading, it says midnight on Tuesday. So they may have, though, because that would have been last night. I made an error earlier. That would have been last night. So maybe someone has. So if there's anyone that has received some money, without putting us all the way up in your business, but we would ask if you would share anyone that had direct deposit on their taxes. Have you all received any stimulus payment to your bank account? Assuming you have the same bank account information, because sometimes people change banks. Sometimes their bank accounts close for whatever reason. So I know that there's going to be a process that if your bank account information is different, or if your bank account information is different, or if your address is different, then there's going to be some kind of way that the IRS will roll out later on to make sure that you are able to get that. I'm going to put that link up anyways, or at least it's going to be in the comment section. Everyone should be able to see it. But right now, again, the site is down for you to be able to check on or track your stimulus payment or your coronavirus payment. So while you guys are thinking of any questions that you have, I'm going to move on to our topic for today. And how do we spend these stimulus checks and our refund checks? And again, this broadcast is being brought to you by Tax Pro. I am going to make that shameless plug. Tax Pro is located here in Columbus, Georgia. We have 2 locations. Pass by and see it. So do remember that, and know when you're picking a tax preparer, you need to pick someone who's educated, who has experience. And for myself, I have 20 years experience in income tax preparation. And so we are a company of integrity. We are a company that we don't take your information, trade it, do anything freaky with it. We make sure that we follow the guidelines. So moving on to what to do with your stimulus payments. I'm going to speak to you from two places. I'm going to speak to you from a place of experience, and I'm going to speak to you from a place of the experts, simply because of the fact that some people say, well, hey, I don't really know you. So how do I know that you're telling me the truth? How do I know that your experiences are valid? Well, I'm going to share my experiences, and then I am going to share with you what the experts say about this, in case you don't believe Miss June. That's what the kids at church call me. But in my personal experiences, how was I able to even start in business on my own? Guess what I did? Well over 20 years ago, because initially I was in the salon business. I was a salon owner for 11 years. And my first year, I knew nothing about doing anything else in business, nothing about taxes or any of the retail business or anything else that I've been fortunate to participate in. But I wanted to open a hair salon. A friend and I, we were in cosmetology school together, and we started talking about what we could do. We wanted to open a salon. Neither one of us had any money. In fact, I was pregnant. I was good and pregnant. In fact, by the time we opened, I was probably 7 or 8 months pregnant, stomach out to here. So we didn't have any money. We were just students living, from day to day. I think we were both working some kind of fast food job. But anyways, I made the decision to take my tax refund, because I already had one child, and I know it was less than $3,000. It may have been like $2,800. But I took my tax refund and I invested every penny of it in buying salon equipment, buying everything that we would need to start our business. And I'll just say to you all that the rest is history. Why do I say the rest is history? Because when you take the resources that you have and you invest it in yourself, and you invest it properly in the things for your future, you are going to get residual income or residual return from that one seed over and over and over and over again, because it put me in the position of, after I opened the hair salon, I met someone about 6 months later that came in to get their hair done. The lady came one time and said, hey, are you interested in doing taxes? And again, the rest is history. Off of that one $2,700 seed that I sacrificed and said, I'm not going to buy shoes, I'm not going to buy clothes. Remember, I was pregnant, so I could have went and bought cribs and stocked up on all the little baby Jordans and the little onesies and all that stuff. I bought just enough. If I even spent any money on my baby, I bought just enough to make it through. I said, I got an extra bed in my house, so this baby's gonna sleep on this bed over here, and I'm gonna make sure she's got enough cushions around her. If I didn't have a crib, I don't even remember all the details of what I had. But what I'm saying is that I invested in our future. I did not invest in today. And that's where people get so caught up and get messed up, is when you tie all of your money up into today and don't think about tomorrow, then how is tomorrow going to happen or take care of itself? When you do not save, when you take every penny that you have and you spend it until you spend out, then what do you have for your future? And your future is going to come. Your future is an hour from now. Your future is 5 hours from now. Your future is tomorrow morning when you get up and you got flat tires. Your future is 2 days from now when you get ready to crank your car up and your car won't start, but you spent everything yesterday. So I learned that early on as a young 28-year-old woman. I'd already had a one child. So the experiences of having my first child at age 19 put me in a place that I knew how to make some smarter, wiser decisions. And when 28 came and I got that tax refund, I said, I'm going to invest this money back into me. I'm not going to send this money to Walmart. I'm not going to send it to Sam's. I'm not going to send it to the shopping mall. I'm going to take this money and send it into my future. So the experts have some thoughts on just what we should do with this extra stimulus payment that we're getting. And I'm adding in here refund check, because this is all happening around the same time. And because we're all getting this money around the same time, we should put it to good use. I do want to make mention of two things, though. The tax refunds are not scheduled to start. First of all, the IRS has not even released the exact first filing date. It's somewhere around the end of January, normally about the 25th or 27th. So with that being said, it is against the law, based on the legislation that they've passed concerning earned income credit, which is the extra money that you get for your children if you're in a certain tax bracket. That money can't go out until the middle of February. So we're looking at regular tax refunds going out perhaps first couple weeks in February, EIC between the end of February to the beginning of March, which means there's still a big gap. There's still roughly a month to month and a half, 2 month gap before you would even receive your tax refund. Don't bank on it. Don't bank on it. The government is holding them up. They have the power to, even though you file your taxes. Let me tell you, stop getting mad at your tax preparers. Coming into the office, calling, giving these long dissertations about you filed my taxes. And I want to know why I have my money yet because I filed it. What did you do? Blah, blah, blah. We don't have that kind of power. I wish we did. Baby, I would be releasing everybody's tax refund within 24 hours. As soon as you file your taxes, I will have your money to you. Because I know that the faster you get money, you're going to send somebody else to our business and we're going to grow and work together that way. But we don't have that kind of power. All we are glorified intake officers. We take your information, we put it into the computer, we take and couple that with the knowledge that we have of the different credits and things that you can receive. And once we feel like we have come to filling out your application to the way that's more advantageous legally for you to get as much money as you can, we take that application and send it off. So it's like we just basically help you prepare an application to the government. The approval of that application is up to the government. The approval on whether or not they're going to give you a tax return, how quickly they're going to give it to you. There are certain guidelines in place. For example, if they hold it beyond a certain period of time, then they are supposed to pay you interest on it, but they can take it and hold it until they are satisfied information wise. It can be months. It can be over a year. If you do not satisfy them to where they feel comfortable in releasing that refund based on the information that's on the tax return, if they send you documentation, letters that ask you for other documentation, it is within their power to take the your tax return and hold it or release it or not release it. So that's one of the things that you have to be, I have my ministry title up there. Yes, one of the things you have to be mindful of is we don't have any control on when you're going to get it. But what is helpful to make sure that your application goes through smoothly and gets accepted and your refund sent out smoothly is if you are honest and give us all of the right information. Fraud has no place when it comes to you and your taxes. And fraud can be as simple as you claiming someone on your tax return that you know you probably really should not have claimed, and making mistakes where you forget about a W-2 or a 1099. You cannot not file a W-2 or 1099 or some document that you receive for your income because the government knows. Everything has been reported. And that's another thing that holds you up. I've had some people that really, honestly, they worked a little job, maybe a month or two, and forgot, brought everything in, we processed the tax return, and then the tax return was held up for a month or so, and they received a letter saying all of your income was not reported, it was incorrectly reported. So what do we do sometimes as people, because we're so high strung emotionally? Run to the tax office, you didn't put all my stuff in here, I gave you all my papers. Then we go through the file and there it is, we put in everything that was given to us. But when I look at the letter and it shows Company A, because it'll tell you exactly what's missing according to what was reported to them, Company A was not included. Then the taxpayer goes, oh, I forgot I did work that job. So make sure you wait on all of your W-2s. So if you've done all of that, back to my previous point, if you've done all of that, you make sure all of your ducks are in a row, you filed everything that you needed to file, then the expected time for tax returns to get out is to start rolling out somewhere around the first, the second week of February thereon. So there's already a big gap. There are companies like ourselves, refund advances. Those are going to start rolling out on next week. So if you're in a position where you have your paperwork together but you need some money now, you can come to an office. We are going to put your information in. Again, it's another thing we don't have any power over. Once we put your information in, the banks will decide whether or not they will give you a refund advance of up to $6,000. So with knowing all of that, you've got several opportunities now to get money. You've got stimulus, you got your regular refund, you've got your the opportunity to get a refund advance. What do you do with the money when you get it? This is what the experts are saying. Paying down your debt may not be the best way to use your coronavirus stimulus check. And we will say that even especially with what's going on right now, even your tax refund check, try to focus on the next 4 to 6 weeks and budget for your essential expenses, which means Not only are we just going to go and look inside of and see, okay, we got a credit card we want to pay down. That's not the most essential thing right now. Now people are realizing how important it is that they have an emergency fund. Does everybody that was watching have an emergency fund? If there's anyone that does, say I do. But if you have an emergency fund, that means you have enough money set aside for 3 to 6 months of living expenses. If you don't have that, do not go buy one television. Do not go buy one pair of sneakers. Your child lived without those Jordans for this long. He'll live without them for another 12 months. We got to learn how to say no to ourselves. We got to learn how to say no to our flesh. I mean, it's almost like a spiritual thing. I am a minister, those that do not know. So it's the same in the natural as it is in the flesh. We as Christians are learning how to discipline ourselves spiritually so that we can live the best life, have the best outcome in life. Same thing even in our secular lives, whether you prescribe to being a Christian or not, the same disciplines apply. You have to learn how to say no to you and your desires, because all of the time our desires is not what is going to take for us to achieve the goals that we have in life. Everybody's not going to be rich. Everyone is not going to be a millionaire. That's just it. That's the way it is. There's going to be the poor always, and there's going to be the wealthy always, and there's going to be the people in the middle. That's just the way that it is. But whatever level we find ourselves on, we can manage and maintain if we make good financial decisions. So when we get this COVID money, let's go to Susie Orman. Susie Orman says the same thing. And anybody that does not know Susie Orman, she is a financial guru. She has programs about building wealth, managing your finances, making good budgets. She's a very great resource. She says, do not pay off debt with a second stimulus check. Here is your first priority. And your first priority is for you to save your money. Save is exactly what she said. In this day and hour, it is so hard to save because of what's going on around us. And so sometimes we feel like we just got to hurry up and buy this. We got to buy this and that. But even when we are preparing for our futures, we got to be very wise about it. I can't help but go back to the Bible. I'm sorry, but I think about Joseph in Egypt. For those of us that are Christians and believe in the text of the Bible, how when the times were lean or the times they did not have a whole lot, that they had already set aside for that times. When we save, we're saving for the unknown. We're saving for what we don't know has happened. There should not be a family that at this point, after us being in a national pandemic for almost an entire year, that does not sit back and think to themselves, I've got to prepare for the future because I don't know what's going to happen. I think all of us were a bit complacent and relaxed and never saw anything like this coming. We probably thought of any other calamity, but not a global pandemic. But now that we are here, I think our mindset should all change to the fact that we are going to save. We're going to not take our money and blow it. So even Susie Orman say, save. Now you're going to have to prioritize. Where do you spend that money? First, save as much as you can. Next, prioritize the bills, the must-have bills that you must pay. You must have money to pay your rent, your car payment, your insurance, things like student loans. And of course, we know that they have given us forbearance for that for a long time. But make sure that you hold on to first 3 to 6 months worth of expenses in your emergency fund. And at this point, she's saying that she feels like that needs to be upgraded to even 8 months of an emergency fund because we don't know what's going to happen. If you can put aside a year's worth, some people say, I can't save like that. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And the first step is to look in yourself in the mirror, just like I'm seeing myself on this camera and saying, no, Danielle, you can't have that. So that's step one. Everybody that's watching just needs to say it to yourself, type it in the comments and say, no, I'm going to say no to myself. I'm going to say no to eating lobster tails. I'm going to say no to eating crab legs. I'm going to set a certain budget for my groceries. I know that my household can live off of, and this is just an example, we can live off of $350 a month groceries if I cook every day, if I budget every day. Even if you have lots of money in excess, it's the time now to say, let's budget, let's save, because we don't know what's going to happen. It's not even about planning for retirement anymore, even though that is something that's very important. It's just about making it through this next year, making it through these next couple of years. So we have got to look at everything that we do and say, do I need it? Do I need to spend this money? Do I need to buy this? And if the answer is, I don't know, I don't think so, I think I can live without it, then don't. Leave it at the stores, leave it where it is. And save or put aside money for your families. I'm almost done here, but she suggests starts by storing away at least $1,000. So basically $1,000 we know is not even a month's worth of bills for some people's household, but start there. If you don't have $1,000 saved, save $1,000, don't touch it. And then every pay period, or if we start with this stimulus, the stimulus is not even going to be $1,000, but take it and save it. You've lived this far long without it. Find some other creative way to pay your bills for the rest of the month. Save that $600. Then, and when you get your tax refund, add some more money with it. Or if you're working every pay period, put some money with it. Get that $1,000. And then once you get that $1,000, by the end of the year, at least increase that so that your goal is somewhere between $3,500 to $5,000. That's a good emergency fund to start off with. But we cannot take our tax money. People, I just beg you, we're almost done. We're out of time. I got 2 minutes left. We cannot take our tax money. We cannot take our stimulus money and spend it on frivolous things. Spend it on getting another outfit. Spend it on getting our hair done. Let's talk about getting our hair done for a minute. Women, I know y'all, I'm getting ready. Woo, I'm gonna get some hate mail today, but I've got to be real about it. The history of women in hair, especially with Black women, that one of the things that we've prided ourselves in our culture is keeping ourselves looking beautiful, because we have such a unique quality of hair that we're able to do everything with it. But now we have gotten to the age where social media, all of the advertising has made us feel like we need to look a certain way to be beautiful. God made you the way that he made you, and you are beautiful just like you are. There's nothing wrong with taking yourself and enhancing your beauty or adding different things on when we can afford it, when it is the right time for it. But this is not the time for it. This is not the time to have a collection of lace fronts and you're struggling to pay your bills and to feed your family, or you don't have an emergency fund set up for 6 months, 8 months to a year. Bye. 6, 8 months to a year. This is not the time for it. Take those helmets of hair and leave them in the store where they are. Take the time out to let's go back to the basics. Let's relax our own hair. Let's blow it out. Let's trim it. Let's take it, do like mine, for example. I'm totally natural. Take it and put it in a bun. Do whatever you need to do. I can afford to go get my hair done, and I know how to do it myself. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to spend the extra money. I'm just not going to. My husband is happy. My husband is happy anyways, but I would encourage, because that's one big extra expense in the household. This is a time to learn. I'm going to put this comment on here, and it doesn't even have a name, so that's great. Oh my gosh, Lady Taylor, don't go there. I certainly cannot maintain my own hair. I need help. I'm going to do like Eddie Murphy did on that movie. Yes, you can. You can absolutely do it. And this is the thing about it. In the age of technology that we're in, just like we spend time watching our reality shows, go on YouTube, watch some videos. The style that you want to get, the style that you want to do. Go to the beauty supply store. When you buy supplies at the beauty supply store, they're going to last you for a little while anyways. So you'll have it to maintain your hair with. But go online, watch a YouTube video. Practice, practice, practice. Practice on your head, practice on your kid's head, practice on whomever you need to practice on until you get it down pat. It's just temporary. That's the other thing. Dave Ramsey says, live like no one else now, so later on you can live like no one else, meaning it's temporary. It's not going to last forever. I am praying and asking the Lord, because every now and then I like a little extra glory. So I'm praying and asking the Lord, let me be smart, but let this thing live from us quickly so things can get back to normal. But in the meantime, it's okay. It's okay for me not to have all of these extra things. It's okay for me not to have 24-inch Remy. That's not what God created. You know, other people's hair was for them. We can take care of, maintain, and grow our own 22 inches. And maybe that might be a goal. I'm not knocking anybody because, you know, I have my little collection to the side from the past. I haven't bought anything new. I haven't bought anything in months. But what I'm saying is, this is a time that God is calling us. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to be preaching. I can't help it. But this is not a time that we are to rely on the things of the old. Perhaps this newness, this new way of living that's coming with COVID has some benefits as well, that it's a time for everybody to sit back, to look at ourselves and say, okay, what areas of life can I discipline myself in while I'm in this? For women, you know, we've been running out, spending our money to maintain or create a certain look just because life has been going so fast paced. But now we have a little bit of time. You know, we're not going out like we're used to. We're not socializing like we used to. So we have a little bit more time at home. So maybe I will stop and take some extra vitamins, condition my hair, do whatever is necessary to start taking care of them, maintaining my own hair. Let me work on these edges. Even we'll move away from that. Even in our family life, it's bringing us closer together, where we're able to spend more time together. Where y'all, your ladies, don't shoot me down again on this minute. I'm gonna talk to y'all in a minute. Because all these gadgets and stuff that y'all buy, got to have the latest phone and the latest Apple Watch and all of this other stuff. It's not necessary. If that's a bill that you can cut back on so you can put money back in your household to save for your children's future, your family's future, because you don't know what's going to happen in COVID, then you can cut it. But going back to the ladies, even in our homes, if we just would take the time to say, and I talk about me first. I promise you, I talk about me when I'm talking about all of this, even if I don't say my name. No, I'm talking and I'm teaching to myself. I'm encouraging myself to do better in certain areas as well. But let's cook more. Whatever the dynamics of your household, because I have a sister in Christ that I'm just envious of because her husband does all the cooking. God bless her. I wish she would just rub some of that off on my husband. But whatever we need to do, let's make sure, I'm sorry, guys. Let's make sure that we cut back in every area and save, 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 save. This is not the time to feel like we're balling out of control. Get these stimulus checks and get these refund checks and run and give it away. I said that I was going to share this on yesterday, and this is my last point. I was talking about just spending money and how these certain retailers do not need any more of our money. Value or net worth of fashion designers. For those people that have to be have the latest luxury things, you got to have your Lua Prada, Gucci, and all of this other stuff. Ralph Lauren is worth a net worth of $8.2 billion. Brothers, I think you've given him enough. You don't have to walk around with a horse on your shirt all the time. Take that money and save it. Your child could be the next Ralph Lauren if you invest in his future. Let me go to this next one. The world's richest fashion designers. I'm trying to find something for you ladies. Muichi Musia, or however she pronounces her name, Prada, is worth $11.1 billion. She's made it. She would be okay if you did not buy. She is not, I'm sorry, I was looking in the comments. She is not going to not eat if you guys do not buy that next Prada purse right now. Let's go on down the line. And I'm not encouraging or discouraging you from supporting business, but if you are going to buy, let's talk about this last point while I'm looking up another designer. If you are going to buy within your local community, strengthen the infrastructure of our local city, our local surrounding businesses. Buy with the small business owner, buy with the Black business owner. Let's build up our own communities. So when the time comes, we will have put our money together in these businesses like ourselves, like Tax Pro, like places like the Life Center. And I'm just naming our businesses because I know that's what we do. That when these people, when we get together and give our efforts, when we get back together at Thanksgiving, instead of giving out 250 turkeys and 250 dinners to families, maybe we can give out 500 because we've supported one another. Michael Kors. You ladies love Michael Kors. So I'm going to talk about us one more time. Michael Kors has a net worth of $600 million. He will not go without eating. If you don't buy another purse, if you don't buy another pair of shoes, if you don't buy another watch from Michael Kors, I think I have a Michael Kors watch on now. That's what it is. If you don't buy another watch, if you don't buy another anything for the next 12 months, 12 to 24 months, I promise you, this man is going to eat. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not knocking having nice things. I am saying your first priority, and I'm going to leave you guys there, is taking care of home. For men, now I'm going to preach for a second. The Bible says that a man that does not take care of his own house is worse than an infidel. It basically is just saying you're not even worthy to be on it. You're not worthy to even be in that place where you're not able to take care of your own house. You have to make sound judgment and sound decisions that say, sometimes I'm going to say no to myself because my children's future is more important. My family's future is more important. If we are renting, I want us to buy and own our own property. So let's use this stimulus as a way to save this money. So guess what? If we don't have to use that emergency fund up and we're renting, then what could possibly happen next year as we're working on and building our credit? Maybe the beginning of next year, that money can be the down payment on your house. Think about your future before you make any moves with this stimulus money, because hey, you know what? I'm not one of those type of people. I'm not quite that bold, but I wish I had it inside of me to be standing outside of Walmart filming over these next couple of days saying, there she is with that TV. No, she don't need it. Take that money and put it back and save it for your children. I'm right across the street from Walmart, and that's what we saw when these last stimulus checks were started to go out. The parking lot was full. People had two hands on shopping carts, one in this hand and one in this hand, full of televisions and all kind of little stuff. You don't need it. But what you need to is plan for your future. This old body of ours can turn on us at any time. We don't know what's going to strike us. We don't know what's going to strike our families, and nothing is free. So we got to have the resources to be able to survive and make it through this. I hope this was helpful to everyone. I may have gone on my rant and out my rave, and I'm sorry, because I am so just passionate about money and saving and having a future. That's some of the debates Apostle and I have all the time. Can put up a couple comments and then we are going to go. That's where all of our savings are going, to the rich and famous. Try keeping up with the latest trends. I'm gonna start shopping at Goodwill. You know what? And there's nothing wrong with it. You can find some good quality things. I'm gonna let you guys in on just a little secret. There's a room that I was trying to decorate in our house, and again, looking at COVID, and I said to myself, I'm not gonna just buy brand new furniture in here, and I don't know what's going to happen. This same budget that I would buy for furniture, I'm going to take the most of it and put it behind, put it up. Then I'm going to take just a little bit of money and go to these thrift stores, which I've done. I fallen in love with the Valley Rescue Mission thrift store. I found some nice quality items that may have just been like scratch and dent stuff. The same thing they want to sell you at rent to go that they hid in a corner or something. I found some things. I scrutinized it, made sure that it was something that would be nice looking enough to put in my house, cleaned it up, spruced it up, and there you have it. Prioritizing is essential. I'm getting the message. Thank you guys so much for participating and joining in this discussion. What a wealth of info. Thank you for opening up my spiritual and natural eyes. We have to use wisdom. And I'm going to come to you a few times a week, as often as I can. And especially, I know I'll be before you on Monday once we start to do the advances at Tax Pro. And I'm going to say to you even this, I want to get the business. I really do. As just a regular tax preparer, but I would say don't fly into these offices trying to get these advances if you know you can wait on your regular refund. It's going to make you a difference between putting another couple $100 in your policy. Somebody has put me in a group text. Oh Lord. But this is going to make a difference between putting a few hundred more dollars in your pocket with your tax return versus leaving out of the office. Say if you were supposed to get 4,000, you get a refund in advance. You know, of course, you're just paying that money back, but then the fees that's associated with doing it is going to sometimes be $100 to $200 difference than what you could have taken home if you would have waited. $200 goes a long way when you know how to budget and spend it right. So again, I'm going to make that information available, but even when we get the advances, then take it, put it to good use if you do decide to go down that route. But I'll be coming to you more, especially at the beginning of the week, once we get completely open. And so much for joining me. That's all that I have for you. Have an awesome, fantastic rest of your day.